I really felt like we were friends. She made us enemies in a way that I could never understand.
The R&B megastar opening up overnight on Oprah's Next Chapter, talking for the first time about the end of his marriage, those tabloid headlines, and the emotional courtroom testimony, fighting for custody of his sons.
She continued to swing spit.
You threatened to kill him? Never.
It wasn't until I was on the stand where I cried that I then realized, oh, this is an attack.
Were you in love?
I loved her, yes. I did, I was in love. Yo, man, I'm here to work, man. I ain't sang in a week. I mean, I'm 13 years old, and I'm telling him, look, you gonna put me in the studio, man.
So we used to actually wrestle off of the frosted flakes because he used to always get up early.
Yo, what the Puff just say? Nobody's gonna...
Following Usher's revelations, Oprah is desperately trying to block out thoughts of Diddy. Her silence has sparked curiosity as Hollywood and the music industry are shaken by the truths Usher is revealing about his relationship with Diddy. These revelations are shedding light on the connections between A-list stars like Oprah and Tom Hanks, further adding fuel to the fire.
Being around that man, Sean Puffy Combs, I don't sleep to this day. I have a problem sleeping to this day. Like, yo, man, I'm here to work, man. I ain't sang in a week. I mean, I'm 13 years old, and I'm telling him, look, you gonna put me in the studio, man. You got Biggie Smalls in there, you got Craig Mack in there. I'm not here to party with you. I don't want to go to the clubs. Matter of fact, I'm too young to even be in here. Why you got me in clubs? We would fight, we would tussle.
Back in the days when he...
Let's talk about what's happening with Harvey Weinstein. I know you posted on Facebook already, but you haven't kind of spoken yet publicly about what's going on.
I think that this is, I'm always trying to look for the rainbow in the cloud, whatever is the silver lining. And this is what I do know for sure. When something this major happens, when you have the fallout, 50 women coming forward, that it's a watershed moment. And what I do believe is actually happening is that, first of all, it's triggering a lot of unreleased pain, repressed anger, guilt, and suffering that a lot of women have had. I happened to be on set with several actresses the other day, and we were filming some things, and they hadn't slept over a period of 2 or 3 days, and I was like, what is that? And they said, oh, you guys are suffering from PTSD.
And when you start talking about it out loud, too.
Everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. And so I think this is a watershed moment. And if we make this just about Harvey Weinstein, then we will have lost.
Celebrities close to Diddy are devastated after learning that the same prosecutor who targeted Jeffrey Epstein is now focusing on them. In a recent FBI announcement, it was revealed that Maureen Comey, the lead prosecutor in the Epstein sex trafficking case, has decided to take on Diddy next. This news has sent shockwaves through Hollywood, leaving many on edge.
Celebrities close to Diddy are inconsolable because the same prosecutor who targeted Jeffrey Epstein is now targeting them. In a recent FBI announcement, it was disclosed that Maureen Comey, the lead prosecutor in the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking case, had chosen to take up arms against Diddy.
Team prosecuting Sean Diddy Combs in the Southern District of New York just gained a new member, and it's a big name in that office. She's an assistant U.S. attorney in the Southern District of New York, and she's known for working on other high-profile sex trafficking cases. Maureen Comey's name might sound familiar. More on that in a bit. Comey was the lead prosecutor on Ghislaine Maxwell's sex trafficking case. In case you're not familiar, Maxwell was Jeffrey Epstein's longtime girlfriend. She's a British socialite, and she was convicted of helping Epstein procure teen girls for sex. Maxwell is appealing her conviction, won by the team led by Maureen Comey. Maureen Comey was also on the prosecution team for Epstein himself before he died by suicide in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn.
Diddy and Oprah share a long history together, and Usher's recent interview has revealed that Diddy has consistently behaved inappropriately with minors. It has now come to light that Oprah is close friends with Diddy, as well as with controversial figures like Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein, further complicating her public image.
Because you know he was running with Oprah and them. He was running with that whole crew. Weinstein, Oprah, Epstein. He was running with that whole crew. They want to know how we're going to do it, how the public is going to take him. Is the public going to let him back in? And the public is not. The public is already canceling him. I don't believe the industry has canceled him yet. All those people who went to those Diddy parties, not one of them had came out and denounced what he has done. I haven't heard one of them. I have not heard one person denounce, well, man, let God handle it. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here with that. If that was your daughter, would you let God handle it? All those people, they ain't denounced them. They ain't definitely, they can't come forward and say, yo, I support them. Because it would mess up their brand. It would mess up their brand. Jay-Z. We the only one could call each other Sean. Jay is the only one could call me Sean. I'm the only one could call him Sean. Get the hell out of here. If that ain't no fun boy stuff. But you ain't had not one person, brother, not one person sit there, denounce what he did, or come forward and say, I support him.
Given the growing allegations against Oprah and her connections to Diddy, it appears she is finally trying to distance herself from the controversy. The same individual who was previously seen kissing Harvey Weinstein is now reportedly turning against Diddy, attempting to expose him in order to escape the mounting turmoil surrounding her.
You will have lost this moment. I think this is a moment where no matter what business you work in, there have been women who not only had the disease to please, that's a part of it, but who felt that in order to keep my job, in order to keep my position, in order to keep moving forward, I've got to smile, I've got to look the other way, I got to pretend he didn't say that, I got to pretend he didn't touch me. I think those days are about to be over.
Are over. And if it happens to you back in the day, you would say, sometimes you're not even aware what he just said wasn't really inappropriate.
I know you've had a couple moments.
Where you just think, what did he just say?
Yes, I remember Gail had a moment when she came and said to me, when somebody said it was so inappropriate, I was like, oh my God, you can sue over that. But
no, and all I said was, what did you say? And then they repeated it.
Yes.
Terrible. I just sat there typing with my 20-something-year-old.
You didn't hear it.
Yes.
You pretend it's okay. You pretend you didn't.
No, it isn't. You're right, Jeff. Absolutely, you're absolutely right.
But a lot of women have been silenced, and I know
I think it's going to change.
Being a victim of child sexual abuse, that when you feel like you cannot be heard, and then other people start speaking out, it makes you feel like, oh, now I can speak out too.
Yeah.
So,
And you've been speaking about it for a while.
For years.
It's important to note that while Tom Hanks has not been directly implicated in the same way, as soon as an investigation starts, he, along with others, quickly denies ever attending any parties linked to the controversy.
The idea that there are sexual predators in power, not just in Hollywood, I think all across any place there's a boss with underlings in any corporation or any industry, you have a type of sexual politics that goes on that can slide in between appropriate ethics and decorum to, inappropriate behavior to the point of harassment and sexual predatory behavior.
Well, I mean, I think people understand that, but the larger question is there a culture of complicity in Hollywood where women are afraid to speak up because they'll be blacklisted. Men are afraid to speak up because either they're out of the same fear or they just think, well, this is the way the system works.
I think there are people that say, hey, this is how it works, pure and simple. This is why I got into it. This is why I have power. This is how it works, and you have to understand that. That does not carry the day. Complicity is also complicity. The people who know, well, look, this is how we do business, and that's what got to be done. I'm sorry it's like that. So beware. That's also present, without a doubt, but it does not carry the day. There's also people that were afraid to speak out, who were victims, that did not go forward, that signed negotiated settlement deals of which a non-disclosure agreement was part and parcel to it. That also does not carry the day.
We want to thank you. Come in. Don't sit on the bed at night. No homo. Just don't get close to the bed. Don't get close to the bed. But it's just like, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man. It's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it, and you did.
No. I definitely didn't have to do it. I definitely didn't have to. First and foremost, I'm not getting in bed. Shout out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna, if we can, let's just put the camera a little this way, just so we're not. I don't want my shot to even, I don't want it to come close to the bed at all. I should look like he fresh off goddamn plane. I should.
Fresh off the guard stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like that's not. I mean, back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the frosted flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the frosted flakes because he used to always get it early.
Yo, what the f did Puff just say? Nobody's gonna acknowledge this with me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the frosted flakes. And we're streaming live. That was stupid. Listen, that was stupid. Listen.
We're having a good time. Your Usher made it in.
One of Diddy's closest friends, Usher, was frequently spotted at Diddy's all-white parties and freak-off gatherings. If Diddy decides to release his controversial freak-off video in response to criticism, it could be just a matter of time before other celebrities connected to these events are publicly exposed as well.
There are a lot of people in Hollywood who are probably worried about which Diddy parties they were at and what was going on. That's not to say that they were necessarily even involved in any of the things that are alleged by the U.S. Attorney's Office. But if you're at that party and it turns out that that's when he set up one of these freak-off sex parties, or that it was going on in another room and you didn't know about it, there's a good chance that you're going to be called by the U.S. Attorney's Office. And certainly if you were involved, you would get a call because they're going to want to know everything you want to know and may even want you to be a witness. I just think, we're just starting to scratch the surface of what this case, this case is going to touch and involve. And the feds have said that this remains an open investigation. There could be more charges for Diddy. There could be more charges for other people involved. And usually the way this works is once they find out other people are involved or were witnesses, they bring them in and they sort of lean on them, and it's sort of like, you're going to cooperate with us, or there's a possibility that you could face charges. So this is going to be a slow developing case here because we're just getting started, and I don't see how this trial begins anytime before.
Diddy is facing over 36 civil and criminal cases in courts across multiple countries. The biggest threat these cases pose isn't prison time, but rather a highly publicized trial. As Diddy has become a global brand, a televised trial exposing his associates could shake an entire industry to its core. However, if Diddy were to go to prison, it would primarily ruin his personal career, not the entire industry.
People in these lawsuits, we're not going to do it in interviews, we're not going to do it, without doing our due diligence, because obviously, these types of allegations are very hurtful to people if they're not true, and very hurtful, frankly, if they are true. But if they're true, you shouldn't have been in the room and you shouldn't have been participating. So I anticipate that we're going to start filing lawsuits. It may not be big names at first, but we have a long list of names, and you might imagine in situations like this that when a victim tells us that this person was in the room or this person participated, we want to do as much due diligence as humanly possible before we file that case, because in the United States, in almost every state, public filings are in fact public, and when you name somebody in a lawsuit, the press is going to pick it up, and we're aware of that. So we're going to make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's, and I expect that there will be some people named in these lawsuits that will raise some eyebrows.
In the past 2 weeks, at least 6 new witnesses who attended Diddy's parties have come forward. Among them are Diddy's own party planner, Tony Wallace, along with models, celebrities, and members of his management team.
She believes she witnessed underage victims at one of Diddy's 2018 parties.
I'm looking like, are those midgets? Because people were trying to, it's people over them, like it's people trying to hide what they're doing.
Adults who are little people, or are you talking about minors?
Am I gonna get in trouble? I don't want to say I witnessed any of that crazy stuff, but we all have common sense. Little people. It's not supposed to be there.
You're talking about underage people.
It's a shame.
Is this woman, Tania, is she really saying that there were minors involved in these freak-offs?
That is exactly what she's saying, Billy. Now, as for what they were doing, she never really could get a clean look at it. She said there was a wall of adults encircling them who clearly didn't want everyone at the party to see what was happening there. She said when she saw this scene with the younger people, that it was about 7 a.m. and that the party had been going all night.
Did anyone ask her why didn't she leave? And what was she doing?
She was there as the guest of a Saudi prince. Why she didn't leave, I don't know what time she left. I agree with you that once you see something like she's describing, that's the time to tip out the door.
Or call the FBI.
Or call the FBI, exactly. But, you know, that's the other thing that we've heard from a lot of people who've been involved in parties with Diddy, that there are NDAs that are signed, and you walk out and you feel like, I can't say anything